Welcome, friends, to the Play Guitar Podcast. I'm Lee, and I'm here to help you become the guitar player that you always wanted to be. The first step to understanding chord progressions is to know the function of the chords. Each chord does something different. Today, you're going to learn with me how the simple act of putting a number on each of these chords in a key is going to let you take control of the harmony in your songs, and you'll be better off for it. So I've got a whole outline today, and I think I'm just going to ditch it. I just really wanted this podcast for you to know what the whole deal is about numbered chords. A lot of you know this already, so this is, something that's old hat for you. But I've been getting this question a lot, and one of the things I love about this podcast is I'm not too far ahead that I can't take an audible, right? I can't call something because of a need. And have a lot of people coming to me asking about, what's the deal with the 1 chord, the 4 chord, the 5 chord, the 2 chord? Why are we calling them that? What does it mean? And those things. So I've got this outline today. I'm going to skim through it a little bit. So here's the 3 sections. Sections are, what are the numbered chord progressions? Number 2 is why use them? And 3, applying them, right? So numbered chord progressions. Maybe we'll do a chalkboard today. Let's see here. Let me get a chalkboard going. On the chalkboard, I'm going to write out. Let's just do C major scale because it's so easy. So there we go. We've got whole, half, whole, half. That's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. In the key of C, no sharps or flats, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give each one of these a number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 8 would be the octave. You could call that 1 again, right? So numbered chord progressions are chords that come from this scale. Each degree of the scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, has a chord that goes with it. And we've talked about that before. You jump every other note. So if it's in the key of C, right, your chord is C to E, E to G. That's the notes in your C major chord. It's a major chord. You can check it out. Take your chord, basic C chord, and look at what all the notes are. C, E, G, C, E. Look, it's just doubles. It's really just 3 notes there, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how each one of these chords in the scale has a different sound. There's another formula here that we talk a lot about, and this is the diatonic chords. This is each one of these notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Number 1 is a major. Number 2 is a minor. Number 3 is a minor. Number 4 is a major. Number 5 is a major. 6 is a minor. And 7 is diminished. These are the chords. If you take a major scale, any key, give them a number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you will get major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. The 1 chord in C, if you look at that formula, it's a C major. The 2 chord in C, if you look at the formula, it's a D minor. 3 chord is an E minor. 4 is an F major. 5 is a G major. 6 is A minor. 7 is a B diminished. So if I said to you, hey, could you play me the 4 chord to the 5 chord to the 1 chord? What would that be? Well, in the key of C, it would be F major to G major to C major, right? 4 to 5 to 1. But we're not always in the key of C major. Say someone says, I can't sing it in that key. Can we change it to the key of F? What would that be? Well, that would be the 4, the 5, and the 1 in the key of F. To know that, you have to know what the notes are in the key of F. And we'll get to that. That's a whole other topic, but that's kind of where we're going with this. What are the number chords? People needed to know this. We needed to be able to change keys pretty quickly. We also needed to know the function of the chord. A 2 chord is minor. Oh, okay. I play a minor arpeggio over that chord to get my strong notes. We talked a lot about strong notes and weak notes in our lead guitar podcast over the past probably 4 or 5 months. So this is something that everything boils down to the major scale. Doesn't matter if you're playing heavy metal, if you're playing reggae, jazz, it all boils down to the whole, half, whole, half. You can relate it to that in some way. So the scale that the key is based on. We were in the key of C for this, so we wrote out a C scale that tells me all the chords that work good together. So you could say, hey, Lee, play me a 3 chord. Okay, well, there's an E minor. Then play me a 5 chord. And then play me a 6 chord. Back to a 1 chord. Hey, pretty cool. And then how about this? Play me a 2 chord. That's D minor to a 5 chord. Back to the 1 chord. That could be a song. That could be the song that could be the spark that starts a song off for you. So that's the idea. Underneath it all, we give each chord a number, and we know a 2 chord is this, a 3 chord is this, a 4 chord is this, a 5 chord is this. But what do you see? A lot of times you'll see something that looks like Roman numerals, right? So you'll see a capital I. That stands for a 1 major because it's capital with Roman numerals. This is more like classical music. Theory, this is more comes from theory. The capital I stands for 1, and because it's capital, it's major. The next would be over the 2 chord, you might see this 2 lowercase i's, 2 little lines with 2 little dots, right? Because it's lowercase, it means minor, right? So we have 1 major, 2 minor, 3. That'd be 3 lowercase i's. 4 would be IV major. That's Roman numeral 4. Then Roman numeral 5. Those are both major. 6 would be Roman numeral lowercase VI, 6. 7 would be VII with a little diminished sign there. That's a 7. It's a diminished 7. And back to the 1, VI. So you'll see this a lot. You'll see this written in Roman numerals. Especially if you go to theory books and those things, because I took all that stuff. That's the way I think about it in Roman numerals. But there's something else that deals with all this. It's called the Nashville number system. And you hear that all the time, the Nashville number system. What is that? What's this? It's just instead of using the Roman numerals to classify each chord, it's just numbers, right? So they say the 1 chord, the 3 chord, the 4. They don't. There's not a capital or a lowercase with this. But what do? They'll say 1 major, 2 minor. They'll write the major or the minor out. Sometimes you'll see dashes. Sometimes you'll see triangles. Something. Everybody has a little different way they do it. But 1 MIN or 2 MIN, 3 MIN. Maybe just 1 instead of major. They'll just say the 1. They'll just assume that you know that. 7 diminished, DIM, right? But it's the same thing. And why did that come about? I would assume because there's lots of different singers that sing standard songs in different keys. And if you're a session musician and so you have 4 different people coming in today, they might all be recording the same song in different keys. If you had to learn what the chords were in all of the different keys, it would get a little overwhelming. So if you knew the number system, the functioning of those chords, it's a 1 chord goes to a 4 chord to a 5 chord. If you know your scales, it's very easy to come up with those chords very, very, very quickly. So it's more of an overall formula to the song than the actual chords that you play. You can plug this formula into any key and you'll be doing great. So why would you use these? For quick transposition? Say, okay, I'm in, let's try this in the key of B. Well, hold on a second. Let me figure out the function. This is a 2 to a 5 to a 1. Okay, well, now in the key of C, that would be D minor, G7 to C major. So got it. Bang. It's an easy way of doing it. Another thing that I use this for is recognizing chord progressions. Now, one thing about popular music and one thing about Jay, Jay likes to pick songs for us to learn that don't follow diatonic very well. These are songs that always have a chord that's borrowed from the parallel minor scale. We have a whole podcast on borrowed chords if you want to learn that. But you have these chords that don't work. That it's hard to figure out. Well, where's the 1 chord? Is it major? Is it minor? Are all these other chords Recently, we did a song. I'm not going to say what song it is, but the whole song was in a minor key, except for the 1 chord, which made it very difficult to figure out what it is. So let's just say it was in C. So the whole song was in C minor, right? But when it came time to go to back to the 1 chord, it went to C major. Has a very different sound. Very interesting song too. But when you just look at it right away and you don't know that, you might look at the 3 chord, the 4 chord, all these different chords, and you're thinking, I don't know. This is all supposed to be in C major. Where are all these chords? So it's a technique that songwriters use, changing the chords up. And if you understand how to classify these chords, you can spend 2 minutes figuring out what each chord is. Oh, well, none of these chords work in C major. Well, what do they work in? What if it was C minor? And there it is. So all the chords are in C minor except for the 1 chord, C major. Very interesting stuff, right? Writing music. You put yourself, let's turn the tables around, right? So we were just trying to figure out somebody else's song. What if we're building a song, right? How can I use this? Okay, I'm going to go to the 4 chord here, and maybe I will use a parallel minor. I'll go to a minor 4 chord. So that would be Roman numeral 4 uppercase to Roman numeral 4 lowercase, and back to the 1. And that's a common technique in a lot of songs. So 4 going to we talked about it in the parallel minor keys. But writing music and then learning songs, it makes it so much easier to learn new songs. If you can figure out what the key is, starting note and the ending note, you can plug in these numbers: 1, 6, 2, 5, 1. So we have a 1 chord going to a 4 chord to a 5 chord. 2, 5, 1. So here's a D minor going to a G, let's say a G7, and then back to a 1 chord. You'll start to learn when you start learning a bunch of different songs to classify them with this system. And then you can start to see, oh my gosh, this song is La Bamba is just like a blues song. It's also like Stand By Me. And it's also, you start to be able to lump songs together because of their chord progressions, because you were able to map these. So what would I say to take away from this is, let's take an easy song that you know what the key is. You know, it's in the key of E. Write out an E major scale and see if any of the chords that you're playing line up with the E. F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. One of those notes, and plug in, give that a number, each one of those notes, and say, oh, that's the 3 chord. In major, it's minor. I'll bet it was E, so that would be G sharp. I'll bet that's a G sharp minor there. Oh, that's the 3 chord going to E. That's a sound I like. Maybe I'll look at some other songs that I like. Maybe it has the same sound in there. You start to learn about yourself. I like it when it's a 3 chord going to a 1 chord. Now you've got a frame of reference. Now we're not just guessing about chord progressions. We know when a certain chord progression works. I know what it is, and I know how to replicate it in any key using these systems. Okay, so this is just a short one. I just wanted to address this, really. I didn't want to get really deep into this. I just wanted you to know that this is important stuff and why it's important. And it's easy. It's very easy. If you're listening in the car, maybe sometime watch this again on YouTube, and so you can see the little chalkboard writing, and it might visually make sense to you as well too. And I hope you learned something today. Maybe if you knew a little bit about this, I helped a little bit more. Make sure that if your chords aren't sounding great, if they click, they pop, you have dead notes, they sound out of tune, all of those different things, I have a free guide for you. It's my guide to clear sounding chords. It's been helping people make these small, tiny adjustments. Once you make these adjustments and you know how it feels when you play these chords, then you can do it every time, and they come out really, really, really nice. You can get that over at playguitaracademy.com/chord guide, or hit the link in the description. And that's going to do it for today. I'm going to call it That's a Wrap. Thanks for joining me today for the Play Guitar Podcast. Make sure to hit the button below to subscribe to the show. And if you have benefited from this podcast, please leave a review. I would really appreciate it. And it helps people just see this and hear these. It's great things over at Apple Podcasts. It's the best way to make sure we get this content to more guitar players around the world. And if more help, structure, and results in your guitar playing sound good to you, what are you waiting for? Join me over at the Play Guitar Academy. We have a live Q&A workshop every Wednesday at 5. It changed. Now it's back to Wednesdays at 5. And I answer all your questions, and I have a little teaching there for you too. We have so much fun. It'd be great to see you over there. And I will see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.